Are we
We're
live?
live. We are.
We're back. Look at
Hey.
that good-looking stud. No, not you, Jason.
Dang.
Boom! All right,
Oh.
so welcome to another edition of Live Feed Reads. I'm Paul Reed, your host, with the Egg McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford. Um, we're going to jump right into it. I like my little Northern Lights background here in Brandon. We see that very often.
Yeah.
Not. So I figured
Not.
I'd let the viewing public see what it kind of looks like if you live
Yeah.
up north, or I think you got
It's
to
on
even
my bucket
farther than
list.
that,
Never been
Canada
there.
or Iceland or Greenland or something. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
let's just go into this because I know we've talked about it in the past, but I still get the comment, well, I know it's a no fault state, so
Right.
fault doesn't matter. And here's my response to that: is say that could
Well,
not
so wait. We're talking about car accidents.
car accidents. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that. In a
It's okay.
car accident, Florida has the no fault statute everybody's heard of. All right, and what that basically means, it should be renamed. Instead of Florida no fault, it should be Florida regardless of fault. Because what it
Yeah.
means is, regardless of
Of
who's
who's
at fault in a crash, your insurance company pays a percentage of your medical bills. I'll turn that off. A percentage of your medical bills
Mm-hmm.
and a percentage of any lost wages. So you and I
Okay.
are in a crash, regardless of I'm at fault or regardless of you're at fault. We're
Okay.
both hurt. You go to your doctor, I go to my doctor. My insurance company pays my medical bills and lost wages. Your insurance company pays a percentage of your medical bills and lost wages, even
Okay.
if I'm at fault or you're at fault. So fault matters. If you rear end somebody, you're at fault. So Florida no fault does not mean fault doesn't matter. Because it does. Because then if you're at fault, you injure me, then I'll have broken bones and this, that, and the other. Then I would seek
Yeah.
to be made whole, or
Yeah.
basically under your bodily injury liability coverage, or my uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
And so I just, whenever you hear the term no fault, just forget it and say, oh no, this is Florida regardless of fault, because that's what it means.
Gotcha.
And so that having been said, watch what you say at the crash scene. I mean,
Yeah.
people will come up and say, oh, I'm sorry, and I didn't see, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do
Yeah.
that, and so forth and so on. So when people say that to you, let's say you're not at fault, make a mental note of it, because those are the things that they're going to maybe take back later when they're talking to the insurance company. Oh, Jason cut me off, or Jason did this, and Jason did
Right.
that, and I'm gonna say, well, Jason came on and said, oh, I'm sorry, he was looking at an app, the MapQuest, or he was turning the
Yeah.
phone, or whatever he was doing. Uh, and so fault matters. I
Yeah.
can't say it enough.
Yeah. Ryan's even said at times whenever you get out at the scene, take pictures. If you can get video and the person who is at fault, you can get them like just talking on video with their permission to be okay admitting the fault. That really does speed things along and help in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it does, but they're just never going to do that. Now, well, I will
Yeah.
tell you
Well,
this,
it's
and
happened
what
a
people,
few times, but
well,
like,
yeah, well,
man.
I got news. It happened to me. So Leanne and I was taking
Mm-hmm.
Leanne on Hillsborough Avenue. We were going to Tampa Catholic long time ago, and a lady literally bumped my car. We were sitting there, and we were boom, and Leanne, what was that? I'm like, son of a bitch, somebody just hit us. So we get out, and
Jeez.
it was minor damage. Like, I think it ended up being $600, but it was $600, and I wasn't going to pay for it. So we pulled off the road. I believe she was a nurse, so she had scrubs on. And I say, listen, uh, I don't have time to wait 2 to 3 hours for a police officer. I said, I really, I don't really care if you get a ticket, and if he comes, he may give you one for careless driving. That's not what I'm
Right.
looking for.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not either. However, here's what I propose. And I said, if you will basically write on a piece of paper what your name is, today's date, and you put, my name is Sir, and I'm 100% responsible fault for the accident, and Mr. Reed did nothing wrong, and you sign it, I'll write down your name, I'll write down your driver's license, I'll write down your tag, and I'll write down your insurance information, and we can go about our merry way. And she was more than happy to do so. I said, I just, this is what needs to be done. If not, we're going to have to sit here and wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for the police, and I don't have time for
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm
good.
sure you don't either. And she was more than happy to do so.
Yeah.
The people, the people that are not more than happy to do so, well, then you need to be leery. And I would have confronted
Get
her.
as much
I'll
information
say,
possible.
the fact that you're not willing to just admit that you hit me, I was sitting
Yeah.
still, I did nothing wrong, makes me suspect as to what you're going to say if we
Right.
leave the accident scene without the police coming.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I would be
But you
like,
know
oh
what?
yeah, great. Here, look, here's my insurance information. Here's my
Yeah.
name. Here's my address. Take a picture of my tag. Here's my insurance card.
Yeah.
No problem. Let me get the hell out of here because you
Right.
risk a careless driving ticket.
Sure. And I think a lot of people might not be willing to try to ask if they can get that on video or write something like that down because they may be afraid of confrontation or
Well,
something like
100%.
that.
Well, and that's I guess that's what spurred me is you don't really need it on video.
Yeah.
I got as a lawyer,
Yeah.
if Jason comes to me and say, look, I was in a rear end accident or whatever, and here I got a piece of paper where they wrote their name down. They
Mm-hmm.
said they were at fault. They said I did nothing wrong. Well, whoever wants to back out of that, that's
Yeah.
exhibit one for the jury.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll say to the defense attorney, this is going to piss this jury off to the point where they'd be more apt to award my client more money for you not taking responsibility or trying to change your tune.
Yeah.
So,
And it's nice whenever you do ask someone of that and they go, yeah, absolutely, I'll take responsibility. It restores a little bit of faith in humanity. Like we haven't all just decided to fight about everything.
right. Well, I just signed up a guy yesterday, a Hispanic gentleman, and he was in Falkenberg, going to make a left-hand turn Sunday. The Hooters is across the street, the Shell gas station's to the right. He says, I'm sitting at the red light because it's arrows. It's those
Yeah.
two turning lanes. If you're heading, south on Falkenberg to turn east onto 60 into Brand, it's two turning lanes. He goes, I'm sitting there, light turns green. I go to move out, and this lady plows me who's westbound on 60. Of course, what is she? I had the green light. And
Yeah.
so my guy basically on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning just blows through green arrows. People don't do that.
Yeah.
90, I don't know that I've seen or a case where they blow through the red arrows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not typically what happens. Now they may, if it gets close, green, yellow, red, and run it. But that's that's what happened to this lady. I guarantee you, it was going green, yellow, red, and she's hauling ass and tries to beat it. But there are no witnesses, no dash cams, so there's no way for me to prove it. Then it come down to, deposing each individual. The defendant would depose my guy. I would depose her, and sometimes you can tell they're lying.
Yeah.
To say, you know what I mean? And you do it on video. You videotape them, which is allowed, and then they, it's just, they start sweating, and it's 40 degrees in here. Why are you sweating?
Yeah, you can catch them. You can ask the same question multiple different ways.
But it's just, it's tough, and I don't,
rough,
I don't know why I don't have a camera in my car. I actually wish cars nowadays, because a lot of cars have cameras, built in, but they don't tape and record. I wish that was a feature that was standard.
Well, that'd be something I would think the insurance companies would be interested in promoting. Would be like, hey, take your car in and get a video system installed and lower your rates or something to that effect. Like,
well, yeah,
I would think that would be something I'd be behind.
Here's the flip side to that. How many times does the insurance company not pay one or the other because there's no witnesses?
Yeah.
So with a camera in the car, one or the other is always
going to have a witness.
Pay.
Yeah.
With no camera, 10% of the time, 20% of the time, neither are going to pay.
But we'll put a little GPS thing to monitor your speeds.
They're not stupid.
No, they're not stupid, bro. They're greedy.
Why would we want, Jason? Why would we want that? That means one of us is always going to pay.
Yeah. Oh man.
10% of the time or 25% of the time, and on these red lights, 100% of the time with no witnesses, nobody pays.
Yeah, you nailed that one.
Thank you. All right. Well, listen, Brittany's in town. She's leaving back to DC on Monday. So we're going to cut this one short. I get asked and continuously. So I just wanted to reiterate, fault matters. So, understand that if you're in a crash, like Jason said, document as much as you can. There's no law that says, especially, if you're not hurt or you don't think you're hurt and even the next day, but to say you can't exchange information and go about your merry way. However, if you're going to exchange information, you want that document, written or otherwise, that the other person accepts 100% fault. If they don't do it, then, end of story. Because, I'm in a hurry. I got to pick up my baby at the daycare, and say, that's fine. Here, right? Give me your insurance card, give me your driver's license, and write down on this piece of paper, you're 100% at fault. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, guess what? Your daughter's staying at the daycare till the cops come.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if they won't do it, there's a reason why. Just that simple.
Good advice.
All right.
Thank you. Heads up.
It's August the 19th. We're still in the throes of summer, but we're getting through it. Another month or so, and it'll start to taper off a little.
Yeah, let's hope. Can't wait.
All right. Well, Jason, why don't you take us out?
Beautiful weekend. Go enjoy
yourselves. And remember, the other side of the law, my book is coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming.
And Jason's wife is my co-author.
Yeah.
Crystal. So it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
You can purchase it for $995.15.
Yep.